Deuteronomy chapter 34 verse 9 is where I'm going, but I want to talk you into it. There are a few things when you're dealing with the fight for the future that you need more than what I'm going to teach you about today. Number one, you need a personal decision. Whenever the conversations about the future starts, what I've learned in my life is that nobody can be more decided than you. Say yes. Have you ever had people in your life that you wanted the future for them more than they wanted for themselves? And you end up situating yourself in dysfunctional relationships. The excuse or the misnomer is that they think that women only do that, but men do that too. You know why? We try to marry potential. So we make decisions permanently based upon stuff that people have not proven that they're going to be. And then we end up in messes because potential is one of those things that means nothing until we see it. You can't want more for them than they want for themselves. An easy way to burn out in any relationship, in any dynamic, is to try to push somebody who won't move. You've got to wait for decisions. So you got to have a personal decision. Number two, after you've had a personal decision, you need a dedication to the right language. Part of what that looks like is as God starts talking to you about where he's moving and how he's taking you, you've got to learn the language of the world you're called to. You got to study the environment. You got to study the statistics because if you don't study the rooms you're going into, you won't know how to excel in them. Very many Christians are suffering right now, not because they lack the anointing, they just lack the right information. And because we think that using Google is carnal, we are afraid to gather around us what we need to know about where we're going. It will happen by faith, but you'll stay there by intelligence. And in the body of Christ, we're in a season right now where the Lord is dealing with you at the intelligence level. And so you got to investigate. The third thing that you're going to need is very simple, but many of us are breaking in it. We need the right support system. If you start venturing out into things you've never done before, after you've mustered your own bravery and after you've mustered your own resources, you've got to have the right fallback crew. And some advice on that is if anybody around that area wants to be you, they should not be there. Because it's difficult to celebrate who I envy. And what happens is, as opposed to celebrating you through a moment of strain, what envy will do is hesitate when you get weak. So you'll have a moment and you'll have a test and you'll have an obligation where you need a shoulder and you need an arm to lean on, and those that want to be you won't be there because they're grateful now that they have a space. The whole of their relevance is your weakness. The only way they feel better about themselves is if you're not doing good with yourself. You got to prune that circle. You got to start moving when the Lord starts talking to you about more anything, more money, more ideas, more places. The first thing you need to do is look to see who in the heck is around you. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And you don't just want to look, you also want to define. You want to make sure that y'all see friendship the same, that y'all see trust the same, that y'all see support the same, because it could be the right people with the wrong definition. And so what you do is you want to be able to help people learn how you are. Pay attention. Don't get in relationships with your support system and play mind games and expect them to learn you when you can just say something. It is 2019. Trump is in office. We don't have time to be trying to learn you and test me. I'll do much better if you let me know what you want. In the book of Joshua, there is one verse that in my estimation is one of the most powerful verses that I'm going to lean into today. In Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 9, there was a transaction. A part of what that means is there was an exchange. There was a deficit and emptiness that was filled with something. There was an opening and a cavity that was supplied with something, because here is how the future works. Everything that you need for your future is either in you or around you. There are some things, skills, abilities, powers, sensitivities, proclivities that you are in need of for where you're going that you don't have, and here's why. God created you with need to connect you with your nature. If you have everything you need already, then what's going to happen is in your pompousness, you're going to develop a hatred to have to admit weakness. If everything that you need for your purpose is already there and you don't have to align yourself with the right environment or a right relationship, then at the end of the day in Canaan, you can say, I got here for myself. So there is a value system of my ministry that I preach everywhere I go because it changed my life, and it's the value system called impartation. I believe in the power of impartation. And a part of what that means is I am fully aware that there are things that I need and don't have that rest on somebody else. And rather than pretend like I got it, I want to get under it so it can come upon me. Now here's a problem. If you don't have strategic, deliberate, scheduled sessions of impartation, a part of what you're going to miss out is the spirit of wisdom. That's where I'm going. The spirit of wisdom. You know, sometimes after the civil rights movement, they taught us that wisdom was life and age. How many of you know an old dummy? You might be sitting next to one. If the doctor tell you, take your pills, and you say no with your stubborn self, you're not wise at all. You are an old dummy. It revolutionized my life when I learned that wisdom was a spirit. That it could come upon you and drench your life and do things to your makeup that you don't have in your personality. Realize that where you're going is not a matter of your personality. It's a matter of your ear for wisdom. How you walk under wisdom. What you do when wisdom shows up. Because it is a spirit, it is very sensitive. Wisdom will walk up on you, and if you look like you don't want her, she's not going, don't want me, then don't talk to me. She's not going to stay there and force her way in. You got to invite wisdom for wisdom to work. And many of you have lost out on thousands of dollars because you didn't act right around wisdom. Deuteronomy 34:9 says this. Now Joshua, the son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom because Moses, watch this, had laid his hands on him. So the children of Israel heeded him and did as the Lord commanded Moses. Here's what I've learned. Wisdom will work no matter who it's coming from. The conflict in this is that he was able to, by impartation, release something to Joshua, and he missed his own destiny. At the end of the story, Moses is looking out at a land that he didn't go to. It makes sense to me that if he could have laid hands on Joshua to give Joshua wisdom, then he should have walked in wisdom himself. But a moment of frustration in the life of Moses made him dishonor wisdom. What God told Moses was the reason you won't walk in this is because you dishonored me in front of the people. Wherever you see the spirit of wisdom, you're going to see honor. It's going to be something that happens automatically. And what you need more of right now is not a credit repair. You don't need a co-signer. You don't need a donor or a sponsor. You need a ravenous appetite for wisdom. You need to literally wake up every day and get dumb on purpose. People always ask me, how do you learn how to pray? How do you know the voice of the Lord so well? How do you know this? It's because I act stupid. Before God, I'm dumb. A part of what that means is my knowledge does nothing. My insight does nothing. My strengths are nothing. But the foolishness of God is better than the wisdom of men. So my prayer life looks like this. Lord, I don't know nothing. I don't know how to be a husband. Show me. I don't know how to be a wife. Show me. I literally have a disability. I am nothing without you. And if you don't fix this day, it won't be fixed. I'm going to abase myself and rely on you to teach me even how to breathe. I need to know how to talk to folk. I need to know how to maintain my emotions. What I'm doing, I'm keeping myself in the right posture to wisdom. It is a spirit. You can transfer it. This is why and how Joshua was prepared. Not only did he have access to the right rooms, he had an impartation of the spirit of wisdom. And if you ever really do a word study on the Bible meaning or the Hebrew meaning of wisdom, it'll wear you out. Because when you read and you hear the phrase wisdom, you think advice. But wisdom is so much more than advice. It literally is the capacity to fight for the unknown. It is a book, the book of Proverbs is not just good sayings. It is a defense for all things future. That's why, and it's a manifestation of a man who asked God for wisdom. Remember, Solomon had the option to ask for a bunch of stuff. He wanted wisdom, and he wrote out a defense manual for the future. So good, sir. Wisdom. Now, if you're not careful in your life, in the life around you, when the Lord is trying to posture you around wisdom, what will happen is the enemy will surround you with critics. Here's why. All of your decisions is a matter of conflicting conversation. You're going to have some people saying one thing, some people saying another thing. And it's going to be incredibly crucial that you ask God. I mean, you have to ask. I don't care how naturally you have it. You have to ask God for a heightened discernment, because you got to know who's sending, what's saying what to you. In seasons where you're being postured around wisdom, a lot of people, especially, this is why you got to be careful who you befriend when you're vulnerable. If you're vulnerable, you're going to be naive, and you're going to miss wisdom trying to be understood rather than be supported and walked through. I'm concerned about how many people get more money and not more wisdom. You know how you see that, Elder Talent? What am I saying with this? I have a word for you. Okay, let me do this. There are people who want the Lord, for example, to destroy the yoke of poverty, and they say, oh, because you know when folks backslide, Bona, tax time. Everybody backslides at tax time. And here's how you see the deficit of wisdom. We see your whole tax return in your outfit. You just spent all that little $3,000 of the kids you lied about and brought you some stuff to imply a status that you don't have. When wisdom would have said, let me suspend, watch this, and save so I can see this later. It's a school, that's what I saw. What the Lord wanted me to tell you was that's next. It's a financial life literacy school. And there is like a rulership coming on you to do this. You will be most used of God. The passion is money, but the assignment is barrier breaking. It is the God that breaks through. You will have no barrier, not racially, not economically. Prepare yourself. Your heart is so pure before the Lord that he's going to trust you in rooms of extremely wicked men. Many of them are involved knee deep in Freemasonry and the occult. But you will get more breakthrough sitting around a table of gentlemen in their 70s drinking bourbon than you will ever in a church. God is about to open doors. And you know what I see? I see golfing. The Lord is about to invite you to some golfing trips. It's going to be amazing. When you get there, there are going to be people that smell the fragrance of wisdom on you, and they're going to want to get behind what you do. Your apostleship is to the Fortune 500 companies of this nation. That is the word of the Lord. Come on, give the Lord some glory for that. Shout wisdom. When you study the Hebrew word wisdom, one of the meanings of it is war. It literally means to contend. There are things around you that don't want you to be your best self. So in wisdom, you know exactly, listen to me, because if you are a visionary, a big thinker, a big seer, a big dreamer, one of the worst or hardest things to learn is limits. I hate being told I can't. I hate being told not now. That's everybody who's like me changes the world. But sometimes you got to steer it the right way. And when you are a big seer, a part of your greatest wisdom will be applied when you have to enforce a limit. If there are people around you that make you manage their feelings, it's going to be very difficult for you to apply yourself to wisdom trying to care for everybody else. It's wisdom. You have to learn that. You have to learn that. You have to learn the power of the right yes, the quick yes. You have to learn the power of a hard no. I'm looking in the face of people who your support system knows how to finagle your heart ties. You know how I got tough? Looking at people cry so that they could get their way. You have to learn that even if people whine or cry or any of that around you, it does not mean you should change your stance because they have a need. When you think manipulator, sometimes you think mean. Some of the most manipulative people around you are nice. They have a good attitude. They just have bad intent. And they know how to twist to get what they want out of you. You need wisdom. You need wisdom. It's not just about the where, it is also about the when. You also need wisdom. I believe that if God even plans a mate for you, I don't know why I'm going here. I believe that if you are in a season where you're being ready for marriage or prepare for marriage, you know what I believe? I believe if you marry in the wrong timing, it is the equivalent of marrying the wrong one. You better hear me as a warning. I believe there is a such thing as the right one, wrong timing. Sometimes you need to wait to let this thing mature a little bit. And don't let society or your mama, your grandmama, or your Aunt Deborah and all them pressure you. Have the decency to say, I'm not ready. I want you, but I ain't ready. I'm not good with my money. Why do I feel a chill in here? You better get that ring back, girl. You know I ain't ready. That for somebody at row 9. I see it. Why? I'm serious. People change or mature, and here's the deal. You don't want to date people that's committed to not changing. Sometime in wisdom, you can observe how a person responds to hardship. Here's the deal. When you go to Denny's or IHOP, wherever y'all go, that's not the real person. You are dating their representative. Until you've seen a hard season, until you've seen somebody make them mad, until you've seen them lose some money, that's when the real person gonna show up. You do not want to proceed until you can say, I ain't never seen you act that way. That's how you know that's the